So hi friends, today we are going to see uh, Java 8 new features. So Java was introduced in 2014 and it was one of the remarkable change by Java side. So from Java 8 we are more toward going toward the functional programming also. So like means in Java previously we are not able to do a functional programming. Now with the help of Java 8 there are lots of features that help us to proceed in that direction. So in this video we are going to see some of the features of Java 8 which are mostly used. So we will see one by one. So let's start. So the first feature that we are going to look is functional interface and Lambda expression. So if you talk about the functional interface, it is an interface which will have only one abstract method. So one abstract method means like there will be one method which will have no body. So if you see this interface, this will be called as functional interface because it have only one abstract method. So means when Java 8 came, so it also have some predefined like it's inbuilt some functional interface in that one. So consumer is one of them: consumer, supply, predicate, and function. So if you see the internal of a consumer, you will be going to see like means it will going to we can go here and then we can see in the consumer side. So it is going to take one argument and it is going to return nothing. So that's what I have written it here. So similarly you can go to the other place also, like if you see consumer, it is going to take one argument and it's not going to return. In supplier it is not going to take any argument, but it is going to return some value. In function it will be one by one, so one argument and one there will be one return. And if it see the predicate part, so predicate will take some argument and the return type will be the boolean. So this functional interface will be used in Lambda expression, and there are various stream functionality like filter, map. So there are different functionality where we are going to use this one. So now talk about the Lambda expression. So here you can see the syntax of Lambda expression. So basically the Lambda expression was introduced to make a anonymous function, or like means unnamed function. So if you can see any method like means any method if you want to write, so it will have some method name and there will be some return type. Like if I write something like void add, so it will have one return type, it will have the name of the function, some argument will be passed and there will be body. So in Lambda expression, with the help of Lambda expression, you can write the same thing with the help of this thing. So you can write the argument in this curly braces, and one arrow you need to put, and whatever the body content that you want to put. So basically the Lambda expression was introduced to implement the functional interface. So if you can see, so I have one functional interface, so there is one method that void print. So as we know that interface has only abstract method, so for to implement those things we can make use of this Lambda expression, and then we can provide the implementation of that particular interface. So with this example it will be more clear how we can use this Lambda expression. So you can see there is one method myPrint, so which is taking an interface. So this is the interface that I have created, and that interface it is taking in the argument, and that it's calling the print method. So in the earlier version before Java 8, how we need to do? So as we know, like we cannot create the instance of interface. So what we need to do is we need to create one class, and that class is going to implement this interface, and it will going to provide the implementation of this print function. So here you can see I have created one class A which implement my interface, and its override means it provide the implementation of this print method. So here I provided like means hello from class. So and after that like means I have created the instance of the this class A, and that instance I have passed it in this function. So once I run this code, I will be getting this hello from class. So here you can see that's like we got this hello from class. But for just for one line of code, that is this part only, we have to write all this thing: class, implementation, making an object, and then object we are passing. So with the help of Lambda expression, it has everything we can remove, so it's more focused on what we want rather than how we want. So with the help of Lambda expression, we can simply write, as we know that it's means it's not taking any parameter and it's not returning anything. So what I will do, I will not pass any parameter, and in the same I will not going to return anything. So what I will do, I will write the sysout statement simply. So I will be writing hello from Lambda expression, then I will run this code. So there is no need of this all making a class and all. We can do with the help of this simple Lambda expression. So here you can see this this method is coming from that one. So next is for each loop. So for each, like before for each, like means we already have for loop and also like enhanced for loop. So in both the cases, like we are they both known as an external iteration, because like there is a client program that is handling the algorithm to iterate over. So like how we are iterating, it's being controlled by us. So that is not there in the for each. So the for each is a internal iteration, and that is present in iterable interface. If you can see, go to the iterable interface. So this for each method is there inside a iterable interface. So all the collection, we are implementing this iterable interface. So all collection will have this method, will be having this method, and inside that there will be some loop that will be happening. So the most what I can say, the most important feature that is going to what it's going to differ from the old one is we can use with the in the stream also, in parallel stream. So whenever we are using a parallel stream, so it will make the execution faster. So for that purpose it was introduced. So if you want to convert these two things into the the for each loop, so simply what we need to do, we need to provide one consumer. If you go to the method, you can see the for each takes one consumer and return a void. So what we are doing, we are creating one consumer, and as we know that consumer will take one parameter and it will not going to return anything. So what I did, I take one parameter and I have returned the sys out of that one. So that consumer I passed it here. So if you don't want to write in this manner, you can write in this manner also, directly whatever the things that you Lambda expression, in the terms of Lambda expression, you can write directly. So you can write in this manner. So what it is going to do, it is going to take the list, and for each iteration there will be one element associated with that one, and that element is going to print. So let's now talk about the default and static method interface. After Java 8, we can have default and static method in interface also. So before that one, it was only the abstract method that we can have in the interface, but after that we can have default and static method. So what is the need of the default method that we are talking about? So let's suppose we have one interface, that interface 1, and that is been implemented by three classes, class A, class B, class C. So I have one method named M1, so all three are implementing this method. So let's suppose I need to create one more method into the interface. So let's see, I have created one M3, but it is not required in any of these three classes. It was required in my new classes, that is class D. So the new class created, that class D, it will have this M1 as well as it will have this M3 method also. Yeah, so we are able to achieve this one. But if you can see, if you are writing any abstract method in the interface, then it need to be implemented in all the classes where we have implemented that interface. So that's kind of breaking the old structure, so it's not backward compatibility. So Java 8 comes with the default method, so that if you want to have any method onward, like which was before, and if you want to add any method, then you can make use of this default method, which is not going to break anything. So it will be available. Those who want to override or provide the definition, they can override, otherwise it will be available to all the method. So here we can provide some implementation also. So like I have provided some implementation of that particular method, and it will be available to all the classes that we'll have. So override, if I try to make with default void m3, here you can see you are getting one error. So extension method can only be used in interface. So default method can only be used in the interface only. So while overriding it need to be public. So there might be one question arise, like we don't support a multiple inheritance, so there might be a case like there will be two interface, as we have provided one concrete definition to that one. So which means like there might be a case like two interface will having the same method. So in that case what will happen? Because the same because of that only we are not able to provide the features of multiple inheritance in the classes part. So if there is a two interface which will have same default method, so in that case as of now, like if there is only one method and one interface is implementing, so there is no required to override it. If you require to change the method, then you can override, otherwise you can leave that one. But if you're doing with the implementing two interface which will have the same method, this m3 we are having in this both, so at that particular time you are compulsory to implement the method. Without implementation it will not going to work. So here you can see that interface.super.m3, so which is going to call this method. So we can mention which method need to be called. So by explicitly we need to mention, like if you want to call the m3 method, then we can call with the help of this one. So now let's talk about the static method. So as we can see in the interface we have the functionality of providing a default method, but there is one problem, whatever the implementation that we are writing in the default method, it can be overridden. So we can override and we can change the functionality of that particular method. So if by any chance if you require something whose method cannot be overridden, so we can make use of this particular static method. So as we have mentioned static, which means it cannot be overridden, so that the method whatever things we have written in the body part, the logic will not get changed and it will be applicable to all the classes, and it will be common and constant to all the classes. And to call this static method, we can simply call with the name of interface dot method name. So by this way we can call the interface. And as we know that static method are also present in class also, we can have in class also, but as we know that the static method is not associated with the object, it's associated with the class. So there is no point we should put it on into the class only. We can have in interface also, as it's not associated with any object. So as we know that the class are more costlier than the interface, so it's more prominent to be in the interface side. So now let's talk about the Stream API. So Stream API is one of the coolest features that Java 8 has come. So it's help us to process the collection of objects. So whenever we are using a stream, so it's take the data and in between we used to do some kind of manipulation, and that manipulation, it was quite easier with the help of different stream method that is present in the stream API. And all the stream API comes under this package like java.util.stream, and after that we have various functionality of that new stream API has. So if we talk about the basically stream is divided into two parts. So first will be the intermediate operation, and the last will second will be the terminal operation. So intermediate operation are something like map, filter. So all this intermediate operation are kind of it's kind of returning the stream itself. So if you can see the map method, so it's map method is returning a stream itself. So after manipulating the data, it's going to return a stream itself. So because of that only we are able to do a pipeline. So what does that pipeline means? Means we are able to apply different method into that particular means we are applying different kind of technique to filter out the data, or kind of manipulating the data. So it makes the whole process quite easier, because before that means we are running a for loop, and then we are trying to modify the data, and if you want to filter, then we need to write one more condition. So for that purpose it was now being quite easier to do this thing, because it's in the same stream we are able to do. And one more thing is means whatever the things that we are doing, so whatever the manipulation or whatever the filter we are doing, it's not going to affect the original list. So it's not going to change anything into the particular original list. So let's see about some terminal operation also. So you can see map and filter are that intermediate, and so there are lots of means count is one of the terminal operations. So the terminal operation is something that marks the end of the stream. So it's kind of means returning the result of that particular stream. So whatever the operation we did, so we want some result, right? So that will be either collected with the help of different terminal operations. So we can see the different terminal operation, that is collect, forEach, also means reduce, and count is also there. And in the intermediate part means we have map, filter, sorted. So here we can see means I have written one code so this code, what it will do, it's going to first it will going to convert the stream. So if you talk about how we can apply any stream into the, so stream comes under a collection API. So if you can see this stream, so it's this method is a default method that is coming under a means collection interface, and we can use that one. So every collection will have this stream method. So after writing dot stream, the list will be converted into a stream, and after that we can have intermediate operation. So here now I'm filtering it. So if you can see a filter operation, so basically the filter takes one predicate. So I will be passing one argument, and the return type it will take will be means it will be taking a boolean. So predicate is like that only. And after that means whatever the things we have done, so now we need to collect the data. So that will be done with the help of terminal operation. So collect is one of the terminal operation that we have, and collector.toList will collect the data into list. So that I'm printing, and so also I'm printing the original list. So just to show means this it's not altering or changing anything in the original list. So here you can see this is the filter data that is coming from this one. So that is the even number that I have so filter out, and this is the original data that is there. So it's not going to change anything there. So it's just a kind of modifying the data and just providing us the results that we required. We don't want to change anything into the original one. Now let's talk about the time API. So the previous Java version also have some date packages, and functionality was already existing, but that was kind of confusing, and that was not having enough method to work on that one. So if you first thing that we can see is means the package ambiguity. So if I remove the import, so if you can see for the same date class there are two packages associated with that one. That first one is util and the second one is SQL. So if you import the SQL, and like it's kind of creating an ambiguity in the package side. And also if you run this code, this date is going to result in this one. So that means like it's not going to provide you only the date but the entire operation that we don't want. Like we want just simple a date, but we got everything. And if you want a date, then you need to modify this result with the help of a different simple what you can say simple date formatter. So simple date formatted, you need to work on, you need to pass the date, and then you will get the modified string in a date form. So that's lot of work that we need to just do just to get the date. So that, and also one more thing is like in the older version, that is the Java object, data object that we are creating, it's not a thread shape. So if multiple thread are working on the same object, then it's like if one of them make the changes, then the other thread need to suffer because it's not going to reflect there. So that is being resolved in the new datetime API. So like the new data API is immutable and does not have any settlement. So this problem is not going to occur in this new version of the API. And after that, like the method name and the class name is also kind of simple. So if you have local date, which means like it's going to return us a days, and if you want the time also, like you can have this local time, and if you want the date and time both, and then you can call this local date and time method in the class. So it's from the name itself you can recognize the what kind of data that you're going to get. And also it have additional method like plus days, minus days, is after, is before. So it help us to do some certain operation in the date things which was not earlier present. So it was quite difficult to work on the later version of the date. And also if you talk about the in the zone side also, like now you can have a zone like this zone ID of Asia Calcutta. Like you can just simply write the zone and you can get the date as per the particular zone. So that was also in the earlier version, it was quite difficult to add some zone and to get the zone data.